Abbas Hussain here with the legend, that is Barry Mcguigan. Barry, you've been to many places in the world. Today you've been called to Slough for a big signing. First of all, it seems that they fed you really well. They really, the fans have taken to you. All I've seen in the last half an hour is just fans queuing up to take a picture with you.
It's lovely. I mean, it's interesting. The two boys are super talented, and I mean, that's what this is all about today. It's the beginning of their professional career. I mean, one's already started, but Adam is hugely talented. Hassan is a very talented kid too. I haven't seen a lot of Hassan, but I've watched a lot of Adam sparring, and he's going right to the top, and we believe that we can do a really good job with Hassan too. Tremendous puncher, Hassan. Just got to teach him middle distance and how to work at close range. But the two of them have got a really bright future ahead of them. My son Shane is an outstanding young coach, and he just takes the best out of every fighter that he can take the best out of them and make them better, and just firm up their weaknesses, shore up their weaknesses, and strengthen the things that they do well. So he's really good at that, and he's just started with the boys, and we really think we can do a great job with them. Absolutely brilliant. They're lovely kids, incredible family. Look at this today, for example. This is 150 people. They could have put 300 in only for COVID restrictions. So we know they're going to have a massive following. The last Pakistani fighter that was good was Amir Khan, and we believe that Adam and his brother will be superstars. Really believe it.
I actually said to Shane, normally when you see a contract signing, you'll see a picture on social media and it'll just be a social media post. Today you've got 150 people plus come up for the boys. But what is it with the Mcguigans and sort of nurturing the young fighters? His dad said it on stage that you guys don't necessarily take ready-made fighters, American world champions. You've got that knack of getting someone like Carl Frampton, Josh Taylor's. I can remember talking to you years ago before Josh Taylor, before he was a world champion, and you said, watch out for this kid, he's going to be something. That's before anyone knew him. Yeah. What is it with you guys, the Mcguigans, about nurturing the youth and making them into top level fighters?
Well, I suppose I've been in the game almost 50 years. I remember what it was like to take a bang on the nose. I know what they have to go through to get to the top. Shane is an unbelievable coach. He has got this incredible ability to take the best out of his fighters, and it helps if the kids are talented. Obviously we've had different levels of ability down through the years, but Abbas, these boys are really up there as far as skill is concerned, particularly, and I'm sure the older boy will admit that Adam has got the most talent, but they both are lovely young boys, very talented, very dedicated, very committed, huge fan base. I mean, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're known all over the country. And 9 national titles, European golds. I don't need to be told that they've got enough ability to be able to carve them and make them into really good fighters. I know they've got the ability to do that, but the process is so important, and it has to be taught in a way that is understandable, that they can understand it, that they can appreciate it, that they can make those moves and changes. It's very subtle stuff that needs to be taught. But Shane and his assistant coach Josh Pritchard are amazingly good at it. So we're very much looking forward to the next 5-10 years with these boys, and I'm convinced they'll go right to the top.
Barry, you were obviously, you had a good amateur pedigree, and then you went to the professional ranks, did what you did. Now you have queues of people who want to take pictures with you. But that transition from amateur to professional, some people don't take it really well. Why is that? Why is that the case?
Well, it's down to being able to convert to the professional game. It's a different ball game completely. You're boxing 12 3-minute rounds. Your gloves are smaller. The rounds are much more intense. You've got to learn to fight at close range. You've got to learn to fight at middle distance. You've got to learn to fight at long range. You've got to be able to move. You've got to be able to be defensive, aggressive. And in that journey, you discover what you're good at and what you're not so good at. And being able to shore up your weaknesses and develop your strengths. And, that sounds easy, but it's very complicated. It's very detailed. And it takes an awful long time to do it. But we believe these two boys are going to be really, really good professional fighters.
And just sort of the rest of the camp, Shane's got a high level fighters in there. We'll be looking at people like Daniel Dubois, who maybe, fair enough, is coming off a loss against George Joyce. He's obviously just won recently. But
just where do you see this kid? Just where do you see the changes that he has made, the alterations that Shane's already made to his style? You wouldn't believe it's the same guy, and he's got so much ability that hasn't been brought out. And as I say, that's what Shane is really good at, being able to get in there and extrapolate the very best that the kid can offer. And we've got, as you say, Abbas, we've got a gym full of quality fighters, and they're all competing with each other, whether it's hitting the punch bag, whether it's doing the circuit, whether it's sparring, whether it's pad work. It's all competition, and they all aspire to being the best that they can be. We've got Dubois, we've got Coley, we've got Chris Billum-Smith, who fights for the European title. We've got Anthony Fowler, an Olympian, who's really going to be doing something over the next 12 months. And we've got these two boys as well that's come through, and they really are going to be right in the mix there, and they have the right attitude. We cultivate the right attitude. It's no messing. Get straight down to it. Get on with it. Work very hard. And look at what the other guys are doing. Try and see, can I take something from them and add it to my arsenal. It's great. It's a great atmosphere. It's great to be around it. And for us, the greatest and most fantastic thing in the world is to see your boxers reach the very top and to get the very best out of them. That for me is the most vicarious gift.
Just obviously now we look at Shane. Over the years, he's become one of the best trainers in the UK, if not in world boxing. When he was going through this route, did you feel like Shane always had the ability to be one of the top trainers in the world?
Yeah, I mean, he started with me back in 2010 when I had to take a weekend off, and he said, I said, will you look after Frampton for a long weekend? I'm going out to Mallorca. And he said, yeah, I want you to do the pads with him, yeah. So I came back, and Frampton says to me, this guy's nicked your job. He's brilliant. And I knew fairly quickly that he had the ability to deal with fighters and get the best out of them. And he's not just a guy that teaches one style. Look at all the fighters that he's had. They've all got a variety of styles. So he has the innate ability to take the best out of people and as I say, try and develop, strengthening their weaknesses and developing their prowess.
I want to ask you, obviously, with certain fighters in the past, they were very close to you and certain things have happened. That you've mentioned the name of the fighter just then. The reason why I'm bringing this up is, has your approach changed since the sort of things that have gone on in recent years on how you sort of get close to a fighter, how close you get to a fighter anymore?
No, I mean, my methodology will never change. I'll always be, and of course we've been disappointed, like you mentioned, Abbas, by a number of fighters over the years, ones that we've done amazing jobs with, and they walked out on us, which was hugely disappointing. But my attitude will never change. I'll always be an open book. I'll always be someone who will try to get the best out of you, try and encourage you when you have your down days. I'll have my arm around you and I'm making sure that you're not feeling bad about yourself, lifting your spirits. I know what to say to my fighters and when to say it. I'm a Hall of Fame fighter, a former world champion in the World Boxing Hall of Fame, International Boxing Hall of Fame, and I'm very proud of what I've achieved. But my job now is to cultivate talent, to help my son, not to step on his toes because he's far better at it than I am, but just to help him and encourage him and Josh Pritchard, and they're doing a fantastic job. And he's going to have multiple world champions as the years go on, because we've got it, we understand it, we know what we're doing, we know what opponents to pick at the right time and when to match them and how aggressively to match them and how quickly to move them or how slowly to move them, depending on what the fighter has to offer.
Just final two questions from myself, because you fought at the very top. We've got a legend in the sport who's still fighting in Manny Pacquiao, fighting still at the top against Errol Spence Jr. What do you make of him? What do you make of Manny Pacquiao? He's fought in 3-4 eras of boxing, fought champions, beaten them. Now he's fighting another one in a huge fight.
He is remarkable, and he's won 7 divisions, or gone through 7 divisions, and I don't know how many titles, but he's won a multitude of titles. He's quite remarkable. I don't know what he's eaten or what he's taken, but my God, he is still here at 40 odd years old, and he will give Errol Spence a run for his money, certainly in the early rounds. I think Spence is very special. Undecided between him and Crawford at the moment, but it's a very exciting division, the welterweight division, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing Manny, and I hope that when this fight is over, whether he wins or loses, that he packs it in, because we don't want to see him going on too long. We don't want to see him getting beat up and damaged, you know.
Just talking about sort of divisions in the world, one of the most packed divisions at this present time is the lightweight division, where you've got Gervonta Tank Davis, you've got Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, still Lomachenko still there. What do you make of that division, and who do you think in that division is number one?
I think Teofimo Lopez stands out. He is exceptional. Gervonta Davis is a remarkable fighter. Power is extraordinary. But he is mercurial in that you never know which one's going to turn up. He can be good, he can be bad, and he has lives a bit of a scattered life outside of boxing. But if he settles down, he's very, very hard to beat. I'd give him a chance with any of those guys, including Teofimo, and I wish Ryan Garcia all the very best. That when he comes back, that he's mentally okay as well, because he's an issue with depression and whatever. So please God, he'll be fine. But yeah, red hot the lightweight division. Lomachenko's incredible, but I think his shoulders are always going to let him down. It's a bit like a footballer doing your crucial ligament. Once you do the shoulders in, you never quite recover from them. And he's getting on a bit in years, but unbelievably talented, and so it's a red hot division.
Actually, just going off Lomachenko, his friend in Oleksandr Usyk will be fighting Anthony Joshua at the end of September at the Tottenham Hotspur football stadium. Give me your thoughts on that. What do you see happening with that? We know that he's cleaned up the cruiserweight division. He's now fighting at heavyweight. Give me your thoughts on that fight.
I think the problem with Usyk is he's not ever going to naturally be able to gain weight and put on 1.5 stone, which is what he needs to do, even to get up to a reasonable weight for a heavyweight. He will give Joshua problems early on with his trickery and his boxing skills, but eventually Joshua will get to him and either grind him down and stop him, or beat him on a lopsided unanimous decision.
Fury Joshua, who wins?
Joshua. I think Joshua wins. Fury is tricky and awkward, but I think Joshua is more versatile. He can do both aggressive in boxing, as he showed against Andy Ruiz, but he also showed a vulnerability. It's only my opinion, and it's I think that Tyson has a chance with anybody because he's so naturally gifted and he's quick. But I just think Joshua's extra power in the last 9 minutes of the fight will take their toll.
Barry, I know we both had a lot to eat. I know you probably want to sit down and just chill out now. But thank you very much for talking to myself. It's been a pleasure.
Lovely to talk to you again. Last time we met was at the Barry Mcguigan Boxing Academy. I think it was in the Crest Hotel, and young Ian Bailey was running it at the time, many years ago. But it was a great success. Nice to see you again.
Thank you very much, Barry Mcguigan.